Yang was the owner of an underwear shop in the supermarket. New Year was coming. After finishing the last order, she pulled half of the door down and waited for the shipper to pick up this order, then she could come home for the new year. While waiting, she received a call. It turned out that she was not just running this underwear store, but also a yoga class. What a workaholic, that was why her figure was so beautiful. When she was packing, a shipper suddenly stood behind her, which freaked her out. Yang often reported to this shipper that he usually annoyed her. But looking at his despicable appearance, he was not a nice person for sure. "What are you doing?" Yang said angrily. He left after taking the product. The camera was moved to the security room. A security guard looking at the camera with an evil smile, which made people feel bad. Yang closed the door, put a red paper on it, and prepared to go home for New Year. The electricity was suddenly cut off when she was about to leave. She didn't seem to be nervous, turning on her phone's flashlight and walking as usual. It was already late, the supermarket was closed as well. She had no choice but asked the security guard to open the gate. May was about to eat a hot pot. He looked pretty normal. They both came to open the gate, but when they got there, the gate was broken. So he took her to another gate. This time, he brought the wrong key, so he had to go back to get the right one. Young felt weird, but she couldn't do anything about it. Then she suddenly found out that the lock was broken. She was rushing to open the door, but there was a wall in front of her. At that point, Young started feeling scared. She took her phone out to call the police. Then suddenly someone covered her nose and mouth with a towel, which made her faint. When she woke up, Young found that she was tied up. The security guard, Wei, was sitting in front and eating hot pot. It turned out that he was a pervert. He was always self-deprecating about his work, and often scolded by his mother because he didn't have a girlfriend. Over time, his mind was no longer normal. He did not only kidnap the shipper who harassed her, but also wanted her to eat with him. He even wanted her to come to his house. At first, Young was trying to accept everything he said, including eating with him. But he was not that stupid. He untied her hands, but not her legs. He was always skeptical that Young wanted to run away. "Eat with kindness, please." Wei took out a ring to propose to her. This ring was too small, but he still tried to put it on her finger. Wei has always been self-deprecating, so he thought that Young looked down on him. His expression looked like he's been driven mad. Young noticed the time and ran away. She even looked for a store that sold communication equipment to check if she could contact somebody outside, because her phone was broken. It was really hard for Young to contact someone. But there was something wrong when she was talking. The person she was talking to was Wei. Young hurriedly ran out, and even planned to set him on fire. The fire was spreading on the ground. Wei freaked out and waved his hand. As a result, his leg was severely burned. However, Young hasn't got out yet, and still found by him. He even injured her with his arrows, then tied her up on the carpentry table. At that time, he was extremely mad. He was going to use a nail gun to make her feel the pain. But he missed the first shot. It looked like he missed it again. Actually, he was also scared, because there was a fire just before, so the smoke came to the fire alarm. So water automatically dropped. The sound of the fire alarm caught the attention of a policeman on the street. The policeman asked Wei to open the door to check. Young then found a way to escape. Thanks to her skillful techniques, she finally rolled over, and then remembered that there was a small knife in the shipper's pocket. She's certainly practiced this before. So she finally got out. When the policeman and Wei were walking in the supermarket, they heard a sound. It turned out that Young was running away. The policeman was shot to death after seeing Young. Young panicked, so she immediately ran away. Two people with leg injuries were chasing each other. Maybe Young felt a bit cold in a wet dress, so she also found a way to change clothes. Young was hopeless, sitting on the ground, and stressed out thinking about her situation. She then silently returned to the security room to get the key for the gate. But Wei found that, while they were fighting against each other, Young took the arrow on her leg out, stabbed him in his belly, and then ran away. For some reason, Young ended up coming to a diving equipment store. She opened the door with a key. Wei was still chasing behind. At this store, Young saw an aisle named "Not for Sale." Perhaps it was what she was looking for. She found a torch. She even shouted to make Wei come over. As soon as Wei came, Young started revenging him. "You can hear her voice, right? Didn't you say you've worked here for 7 years? You said you knew this place very well. So do you know if this shop has anything that is not for sale?" Young picked up a gun to shoot fish and shot Wei. The arrow flew through a big fish tank and straight into his body. Finally, he died. The main gate of the supermarket was opened. A janitor who was cleaning up firecrackers said to Young that Happy New Year. This is the end of the movie. This movie is quite good and scary overall. The main actress Young is beautiful, and the Wei's acting skill is also very amazing. He successfully expressed the personality of a person who was driven mad by his family. Follow us for more exciting movies.